Get off the track and into the streets. Camden Sports Productions and Naira Awards are proud to present At the Post Live, Serling on Saratoga, a weekly behind-the-scenes discussion about the Saratoga horse racing season hosted by nationally recognized racing expert and analyst Andy Serling. Tonight's show is also brought to you in part by Timeform US and Capital OTB. Now, live from the Parting Glass Pub in downtown Saratoga, here's Andy Serling.
Good evening and welcome to the Parting Glass to At the Post Live, Serling on Saratoga. I want to thank everybody for coming, and it's our 7th and final show this week. I was thinking of sticking around for an extra week. I figured I'd have like assistant trainers on and the exercise riders to stick around, the people who really do the hard work, while guys like Dallas are fooling around and hanging out with me. But we will be going back to New York, but want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. We've got a nice crowd here at the Parting Glass, and why not? We're at the Parting Glass. I've got some great guests tonight, and it's been a fun meet because it's not surprising, obviously, that Todd Pletcher and Chad Brown have had good meets, but I think it's been a meet where a lot of guys that might not have expected to have had big meets have done very well. And my first guest is one of them, and it's trainer Dallas Stewart. Now, for anybody that's around Saratoga and knows anyone on the track, you know Dallas and you love Dallas because, Dallas, you're one of the good guys at the track. Let's give a warm welcome to Dallas Stewart.
Thank you.
Big weekend, huh? Good weekend.
Yeah, it was good. We got the rent paid this week.
Yeah. You doing all right?
Yeah, we did okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Of course, Dallas has Unbridled Forever, who won the Shine Again. And now, when you won the Shine Again, which was at 7 furlongs, you were turning her back in distance for her first start. Did you find you had to make a real decision about whether or not you would run once again at 7 furlongs in the Ballerina or stretch her out to 1.1 miles in the Personal Ensign?
Well, I mean, I really felt like that's what we should do. But the owner, Chuck Fipke, he breeds the horses, and he wants to run them all 1.1 1/8 miles, 1.5 miles. So he was anxious to stretch her out, and I just had a long talk with him, actually several talks, and just said, hey, this is where we need to be. We could probably win this. She's only had one race of the year, so let's be a little careful with her. So finally he gave into it, and that's where we wound up, and she ran terrific.
A lot of pressure, huh? Because he was here, and he's not here that often, right?
No, he's not. Actually, that's the first time I've trained for him for 10 years. That's the first time I've ever won a race for him when he was here.
Really? That's pretty great. Now, he has diamond mines in South Africa. Is that true?
No, in Canada.
Oh, in Canada.
Just
okay.
Right up the road.
But he's not here so often. So he was here. You made him run the race, and you won. That's pretty
cool. It was pretty
good.
That
works out that way, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was great. He had a great day. He had a Tail of a Cotty, a 2-year-old that won for Barkley Tag, a good friend of mine. Then there was another 2-year-old by Tail of a Cotty that won in California. He had a couple run in Canada that ran well. So it was a great day for him. And he's a great guy. He puts a lot into the business. He's got, he might have like.
Second guy to say.
That was for you, Shelley Carpenter.
My mom's here. Behave yourself.
I'm sorry.
She's never heard that before. That's a lie.
He's got like 400 horses. So, hey, we need guys like that to do good.
He's got 400 horses?
Yeah, when you talk about mamas and babies and daddies and uncles and cousins and,
Well, he had Tail of a Cotty, of course.
He had Tail of a Cotty.
He's turning out to be a heck of a sire.
I really think so. So, buy you a Tail of a Cotty.
Yeah, well, he was a really good horse.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because you say he wanted to run farther. I remember he won the Wood Memorial and beat Warpass. A little lucky to beat him, and he kept running the distance races. And once they turned him back in distance, he won the Jerome and he won the Cigar Mile, actually. That placed first when Harlan Rocker was disqualified.
Okay.
So he was better off going straight. Sorry about that.
Did you bet on them?
I did. Yeah, I left Tail of the Cotty. I did. Yeah, I did. Well, I used to tell Barkley and Robin I wanted to return him back, and they said the owner won't let us. So when he won the Jerome,
I told you
Robin saw me and she said, "I hope you bet him," and I did actually. It was my last winner. So Saratoga. Anybody that's around Saratoga knows you're around. I mean, nobody loves Saratoga more than you, right?
You know what? I've been coming here 20 years, and as your mom said, do you see a lot of changes? I tell you what, it looks great. I mean, I was hoping she wouldn't be like, I don't like all the changes, but
no, she does.
Well, she does, and I'm with her. It looks great. The Parting Glass looks the same. It looks great. Everybody's here, and a lot of good things. Hey, we still got horse racing here. The purses are bigger, and everybody loves to come.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great place to be, and I think, we're here on Thursday night, the last week. We got a big crowd here, and people love racing in Saratoga, and I know you're somebody who, as much as any trainer I know, spends time around town, and you talk to a lot of people.
I do. I love to go out at night. I run into him all the time.
No, I'm never out.
But, I've got a boat on the lake I bought here when my oldest son Wesley was 12, and I love to go on the lake. Chad Brown's a fisherman. and we'll see him out there. So, hey, we love it here. We love to come up here. We spend our money here. We bring our families here. We party here.
Not me.
Yeah, you do.
No, it's great here. And now, so Unbridled Forever, you're going to bring her to Keeneland. Are we going to discuss where you're going to run her next? Because you're thinking of bringing her right to the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. Correct?
Well, that's what I want to do, but you said I should run her in the Spinster.
I think you run her in the Spinster. You stretch her out to a mile and 1/8. It's not going to be that tough a field. Beholder's not going to come. There's no killers in there.
I just don't want her to get hurt.
Well, you can't worry about it. They get hurt in the barn, you know? I mean, don't they? Don't more of them get hurt in the barn than run racing? Chad didn't listen to me. He didn't run normal information. We'll discuss that later. I think because then you turn her back to 7 furlongs. It's going to be perfect.
I think she can win it no matter what.
I think she can win it as well. We want you to win it. I always wanted to ask you a question. You trained Macho again.
Yes, sir.
And Macho again, you won the Foster, a Grade 1 Foster. He was the horse that almost...
And the Jim Dandy.
He did win the Jim Dandy. Was it a Grade 1 or Grade 2 when he won it? Great. Now, he almost beat Rachel Alexandra in maybe one of the most thrilling moments in Saratoga racing history in the Woodward. Obviously, you wanted to win. Did you have any mixed emotions about that race? What was that day like in watching him in that race?
Well, he was a real special horse, for West Point Thoroughbreds. They're great. They're great for the game. And I ran him here. He ran in the Whitney. He ran second. So I sent him back to Churchill after that. I told Terry we're going to wait for the Jockey Club. We're going to be patient. Then we're going to get to the Breeders' Cup. Well, I always fly the horse. Well, I vanned him home. So he gets off the van. He starts training. I went home for some reason. 19 days after he ran in the Whitney, we worked him. He worked unbelievable. Tearing the barn down. Never saw anything like it. I said, Terry, we need to bring him back for the Whitney. He said, man, Woodward, right, excuse me. Rachel Alexander's going to be in there. I said, I don't care. Let's go. So Terry, being the game person he is, put him on the airplane, brought him back up here. He trained unbelievable. As Chad will tell you, some horses, when they get up here, they just love it. They start training, and they want to run, and so that's what we did, and he ran a great race. Of course, he got beat by a great horse.
Yeah, he did get beat by a great. It was a great moment for racing.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, that day to me may have been one of the most exciting days I've ever had at the racetrack. A beautiful day, Rachel Alexandra.
I wish I could have upset your day.
You wanted to beat her? You'd have been all right, like Dale, where we was wondering why people would boo him in the winner's circle. You didn't mind?
Well, okay, nothing about that.
No second thoughts about that.
No,
so Wayne
sir.
Lucas had his 80th birthday yesterday. Yesterday?
Yes,
and
sir.
you worked for Wayne. How long did you work for Wayne?
11 and a half years. We won 6 Triple Crown races in a row. Check your
Yeah,
stats.
I know you did. You went. That was
3 different
I know
horses.
Thunder Gulch was involved in that.
It was 3 different
Thunder
horses.
Gulch, Timber. Well, he won all 3 Triple Crown races with 2 different horses because Timber Country won in the middle of it. And who else was in there?
Grindstone was in
Grindstone
there.
was in there.
Timber Country won the Preakness.
Tabasco Cat won the 2 after Grindstone.
Yeah.
Grindstone broke his maiden on my birthday at Belmont as a 2-year-old.
He was a terrific horse, Andy. He really was.
He got injured after the Derby, never ran again.
Yeah, we had him. I mean, I went to Louisiana with him, and he ran great. Then we took him to Oaklawn, and he drew the 12 or the 14 hole. Then they came out with this stat that no horse had won from the outs, from the 10 out. I told Wayne, I said, we got no shot today. Of course, we got beat in those. A Louisiana bred beat us, and he came out of the race just okay. We got him to the Kentucky Derby. He ran terrific and won, but he was, injured after that.
Do you remember who you beat?
I think it was Baffert with Cavanier.
Yeah, Cavanier. Baffert's first horse. Nobody'd heard of Baffert.
What other questions you got?
Well, you're doing pretty well so far. So what was it like working for Wayne?
It was great. I tell you, I started off as an exercise rider, started off with him, and then I moved out to California in '86, and I was a pretty good rider, exercise rider, so I galloped Winning Colors in '88 when she won the Derby, and that was terrific. She was an unbelievable horse.
You galloped Winning Colors?
Yes, sir. Wow. She broke her maiden here with Randy Romero on him, one of my best friends. Give a shout out to Randy, huh? And
how's Randy doing?
He's doing good. He swims every day, trying to get strong. He needs a liver and a kidney, so y'all pray for him. And so hopefully he'll get that done. But Winning Colors was a special horse. She went through the Triple Crown. We gave her some time off. If I'm not mistaken, she came back in the Masquette. She ran against Personal Engine.
She's
beat
5
her,
in front in the return of her home.
but she only beat her ahead, and that was her first race back. We ran Winning Colors in the Spinster. She ran last. Gary Stevens got off her, said, man, she's all messed up. I was like, the track was real deep at Keeneland back then, so we took her to Churchill, started training her. Wayne said, just train her, just train her. So as he just trained him. So we trained her. I said, there's nothing wrong with this horse. And then she ran that great race against Personal Engine. It was a super race. And
one of the greatest races ever, really.
At defeat, very dignified. So it was a great race.
Yeah, she was a tremendous horse. Now, you went out on your own when?
In '97, up here, I told Wayne, I was like, hey, He says, well, I figured it was coming sooner or later. So he was great. He gave me a brand new saddle. He gave me a pony. Take any tack you want. Don't take too many owners if you can help it. But I had a couple of his owners. He said, "What's your colors going to be?" I said, "Same as yours." So. But yeah, he was great. And then all of us guys worked together. I worked with Mark Hennick for 2 years. I actually grew up with Karen. Not grew up with him, but hooked up with him when he was like 17, and met Todd when he was like 8 years old.
Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, he used to come to Louisiana Downs. I knew his dad.
Really?
And he actually worked for us in Chicago, 87 or something, as a groom for Wayne. And then he went off to college. He came back. And so we all been friends a long, long time,
It's amazing, the alumni from Wayne Lucas.
But we've been friends.
It's remarkable.
We've all been friends.
And Saratoga's probably the only time you get a chance to really spend some time together, I would assume.
Yeah, that or the Derby or Breeders' Cup, and like Wayne says, it's pretty amazing. He sits back, he sees Todd win 3 or 4 if Chad ain't in there. And he wins 3 or 4. I might get lucky and win 1, Mark or Karen, so we win 4 or 5 on the day, so it makes him happy. But he would rather win 4 or 5 and us win 1.
Now, before I let you go, I want to ask you, you've had an incredible amount of success with sort of long shots running second in
I'm gonna
the
get there one day.
Derby and the Preakness. Yeah, you got Commanding Curve, who was second. He's running the Woodward this weekend. What do you think? A lot of pace in there, right?
That's what we want. We want a good hot pace, I mean, I had a good talk with Bridgman today.
He's going to stay on, right? He came off in the last race today. Just joking.
He did?
He did, yeah. He fell off at the start.
Good. No, actually, no. He no, really, he rides the horse great. And so he's a great horse. He ran second to California Chrome. It was a terrific race, and he won his first race back, came back I ran him at West Virginia. He had a bad lung infection. So we've been working on him, treating him. We gave him some breathing treatments and all the stuff that we know to do and help him out with. So he looks healthy. We know he can run. And
well, you told me back in April when I saw you at Keeneland you were going to run the Woodward. So you're running in the Woodward, and we wish you the best of luck. Dallas, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Andy. You got a great show.
Thanks, man.
Right,
you're the man. Thanks a lot, Dallas. Stay with us. We come right back. At the Post Live is brought to you by Capital OTB. Watch, wager, and win with Capital OTB.